We could survive that. We could survive that. We could survive it. Hello and welcome to We Could Survive That, your survival guide to the movies. I'm Jack, and today I'm joined by a man who's sitting comfortably on a bed that isn't cursed or possessed by any evil spirits. It's Chris.
It's also not a bed, it's actually a hammock, because the idea of this entire episode is to use misleading titles to describe things that are not, i.e. describing a killer lazy boy as a killer sofa.
Yeah, that is a bit false advertising-y, isn't it?
A sofa needs, at least two seats for a sofa? I mean, if it's just one seat, it's a seat, isn't it? So a sofa needs a minimum of 2 seats. And a lazy boy is not designed for 2 seats.
No, unless you're very small of buttock.
Okay, 2 small children can fit on the lazy boy, but that does not make the lazy boy into the sofa. Or does it?
From their perspective, though, from the perspective of kids, is it? No? Everything's bigger when you're a kid, because you're smaller.
But then the lazy boy, the leg bit comes out and the back goes back, so is it even a lazy boy? Is it a chair? Does it not become a bed? If the elevator lifts the hammer, is it worthy? These are the questions. It's going to be a deep philosophical... Oh God, I can't want to say the word. This is not going to be a deep episode at all.
No, of course it's not, because we're talking about Killer Sofa, Chris, from 2019. A film that does not want to answer or ask deep philosophical questions, Chris. It is a indie New Zealand film directed by Bernie Rowe. I did try to get a budget of the film, but I couldn't find it. The only number I could find was from a website that I'd never heard of and didn't trust, and it gave a vague budget of about $1 million New Zealand dollars. But I did find the price that they bought the prop Killer Sofa for.
Oh, okay. How much did they pay for the Killer Sofa?
100 New Zealand dollars, which equates to £51 and 98 pence in British money.
That seems like a good investment. That is a massive difference. £51 and it's 100 New Zealand dollars.
Yeah.
My lordy. But I mean, that's a good investment. You spend 51 quid to get a chair into a movie. You call the chair a sofa. You make it kill some people. You make the big bucks.
Yeah. I don't know how much money this film made, but it's on Amazon if anyone is interested in renting it. We're not being paid to say that. That's just where it is.
There it is, yes, for the low price of 99p. But let's be realistic. You're going to want to buy a HD copy of the movie because you're going to want to watch this film at least once every 6 months minimum.
Yeah, save money. Don't rent it. Just buy it outright because you will want to watch it.
Definitely going to want to repeat viewing.
Look, I didn't know this film existed until I tried to find Velocipasta, because I wanted to do an episode on that, but Amazon didn't have it in the UK. But the first thing that Amazon recommended was Killer Sofa instead. Now, sometimes, Chris, I think I've gone too far with film selections on the podcast. Sometimes they're too niche, but I might have gone too far with this one.
I mean, I don't know. I think there's a pretty big market for killer furniture movies out there, isn't there? I mean, you got Killer Sofa. There's Monster House. There you go. That's a children's animated movie. That's a whole possessed house trying to kill you.
Yeah. Whilst researching this film, I did see someone had put a picture up of I'm assuming a double bill of films that they were going to do, a Blu-ray copy of Killer Sofa alongside a Blu-ray copy of Bed of the Dead.
Bed of the Dead. Is that on Amazon? Because that sounds like it's something we should be doing immediately after this.
Potentially. I didn't look it up, but yeah, if you want to film, if sofas aren't your thing, and you want to film about a possibly killer bed, then Bed of the Dead, is the one for you. But yeah, so we both watched this film, Chris. I was sure that you weren't going to, but what's the general plot of Killer Sofa?
Well, it's about a killer not sofa. It's a lazy boy chair. A woman, I think she purchases this lazy boy chair. It's a nice addition to her apartment. But dum-dum-dum, the lazy boy is possessed by the spirit of a guy who died hundreds of years ago, but who's also being channeled through the remaining body parts of her ex-stalker who was not a boyfriend.
But might have been a boyfriend.
And the chairs, because the main character, Francesca, is revealed to her body's inhabiting the spirit of another lady that did witchcraft, that killed herself back in the 1800s, and the spirit in the chair wants the spirit of the lady. So the chair's infatuated with the main character. All men love her in that lot, and the chair gets jealous and kills off all the possible male suitors in ridiculous ways. And if that doesn't make you want to watch a film, then I can't help you.
That is essentially it. Look, I don't know what I was expecting from this film, but...
Okay.
No, that's how that sentence ends. I don't know what I was expecting from this film.
I was expecting a poor plot, terrible acting, really crappy special effects, and something that I wouldn't find amusing at all. And at the end of it, would go, why did I have to watch this? What I did actually get from it was quite a few good laughs from the animations of the chair. Some not terrible acting, some humorous names for a couple of detectives, and a wholly enjoyable experience. I didn't feel like I'd wasted 99 pence on this.
Yeah, this is a very well-made, well-shot film, given the budget that it had, the budget that I wasn't able to find, so it might have been $1 billion production, but I doubt it somehow, because it's mostly set in someone's house. But I think, yeah, it was shot well. I think the weakest element of it is the script, because even though it's a short film, an hour and 20, the plot seems to keep going, and I've had some time to digest it, and there are breadcrumbs to Francesca being possessed by a witch or whatever, but there is, like a comfy chair, Chris, there is an amount of padding in this film that could have been taken out, with a number of dream sequences and dreams within dreams bits. If you'd taken them out and replaced them with some of the more interesting characters that are in this. I particularly like, there's a mystic blogger that only appears on the computer screen of Jack, a granddad who's got psychic powers, but I would have liked to have seen more of him. He's really charismatic and he's into it. He's played by Grant Karima. I need more of him because he's really it's really good.
Well, I was a fan of the actual psychic granddad, because when he turned up and got the chair wrong, and he was staring at the chair, because this chair's going to be delivered to this Francesca girl, but it gets taken to a guy called Jack, an elderly gentleman who owns an antique store by accident. It turns out this guy is the granddad of Francesca's best friend, Maxie. He sees the chair and he stares at it, and I was like, oh, this is going to be your classic psychic character, because, you know, there has to be a psychic character in every sort of possession ghost film. And when he stared at it and touched it, and his eyes rolled onto his head, and he was doing a little terrible shaking acting, I was like, oh, yes. And that's when I fell for this character, this particular character. He became my favourite in it.
I think maybe there should have been a more lengthy introduction to him, rather than the first scene we see him in. He's doing psychic visions and stuff, because it comes out of nowhere. I know it's early in the film, but it threw me for a loop. But I don't know. I'm not...
Really? I was like, oh, they got this bit in early. I mean, what are you going to expect from this film? The plot, you go into this thinking the plot's not going to be very good, and the plot is quite weak, but it's enough to get a story along. So early introduction of the psychic granddad, because she's going to need somebody. Francesca's going to need somebody to help explain things to her or to other people to, how to fight this thing in that lot.
Just Google it. Just get them. Just get them.
Just Google it. Yeah, Google Dybbuk.
Just get Grant on.
But do you know what this? It's revealed this spirit that's possessing it is a Dybbuk, which is like a spirit, or Dybbuk, sorry, yeah, which is like a demonic spirit thing from Jewish religion. And I've seen this in other films. He built a Dybbuk box. And I've seen this box being built in at least 2 other films as well. So I'm familiar with this spirit. This is my 3rd encounter with it.
Oh, really? Does the box work in those other films?
It does in the other films, yeah, until somebody opens it and then it all goes to shit again. But
Did any of them try and put in a large piece of furniture into a small shoe-sized box?
No, they did like exorcisms and force a spirit into a box. They didn't just drop the box at the feet of the possessed thing and go, get in there, because that clearly wouldn't work.
No, didn't even say please, did she?
No, she's been rather rude about it.
Yeah, pointing a knife. Very threatening behaviour to this demonic chair. No.
Which was defeated by a single gunshot, by the way.
Well, was it defeated? Because it
Well,
wasn't really,
initially
was it?
defeated.
Or it was playing possum.
Oh yeah, it was actually, weren't it? Oh, bollocks. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Very clever. Very sneaky. Detective Bob Gravy and Detective Grape are introduced into the film when Francesca's boyfriend's severed leg is found, and they go to ask her questions and like, hey, do you know who might have wanted to harm your ex-boyfriend? And we get exposition that the boyfriend was a bit clingy, and she doesn't suspect anyone of trying to off him. And it turns out that the boyfriend paid someone to cut his legs off and stuff him into the sofa or the chair so that the spirit of the witch's husband could try and drive Francesca mad, so that the spirit of the witch could take over Francesca's body. I think that's the general aim of the killer sofa.
Yeah. Also, the sofa speaks to her at some point, which is quite funny. When you look at the sofa, it's got two buttons, which are the eyes, and you can sort of see how it's creased. They've made it into a mouth. I didn't realise this sofa kept saying to the woman, it kept saying, was it Alexandra? Which is the name of the witch.
Valerie, I think.
Oh, that's so fucking. Where did Alexandra come from? Right. So yeah, Valerie. I completely. This film didn't have any subtitles on it, and my hearing's not always great, so I misheard it, and I thought it kept going, "Oh, I love you," like, and I was like, that's honestly what I heard, and they were like, "Oh yeah, keep saying Valerie." I was like, "When did it say Valerie?" It turns out it was saying Valerie, and I was hearing, "Oh, I love you," and because So I thought it was sort of killing people and staring at her going, yeah, I love you, which I was laughing at. Apparently it was saying Valerie.
Yeah. It was saying the name of the witch that is possessing or has clung to Francesca. No, the practical sofa monster and the design of it is pretty good. I liked it. And when it stands up, it's not silly. It works as a monster.
It looks a little bit unsettling, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very ominous that this big square thing is coming at you, because it's like the size of a door frame, so you can't, if you wanted to, like, dodge past it, you can't, because it's massive and unsettling. It's a bit like a weeping angel, isn't it? It doesn't move when you're looking at it.
Except it does move when you look at it, because
sometimes
the characters see it move and stuff. And I quite liked about it was its menacing stares at people. When it would look at you, like you can see it in the back staring at you, or you look up at a window and it's just staring down out of the window at you.
Yeah.
And those bits made me chuckle, which is what the film's trying to do. It's this isn't a film to be taken seriously. It is a comedy.
How dare you? I take this film very serious.
Well, the film doesn't take itself seriously, so I enjoyed the sort of animation. I was worried they were going to go for like a CG sofa, but they went practical, which I liked. Albeit the sofa or the chair does not look like anything on the thumbnail of the movie.
No, I was a little bit upset that the chair didn't actually eat anyone or crush them in the lazy boy sort of mechanic, like just fold them up like a xylophone and crush them, and it just like knocks one guy over the head with an iron and vaguely sucks the soul out of another person.
Yeah, what the fuck was that all about? I thought it was going to do that to all of them, that it does it to one guy.
Yeah.
So I guess they're the book when it's feeding.
Or just clobber someone with an iron. How did it pick up the iron?
I don't know, but what's even better is how it disposes of the bodies afterwards. It cleans up after itself. That was quite funny.
Yeah. A forensic, conscious, murderous sofa. I do have one continuity complaint, though, Chris.
Oh,
when the sofa kills Francesca's current boyfriend, TJ, TJ's mum hoovers up an eyeball. The eyeball's blue, but TJ's eyes are not blue. So,
oh, really? I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't staring to TJ's eyes enough, obviously, to clock the eye colour of them. So I didn't realise that. I just thought it was funny that she accidentally sucked up an eyeball from her dead son.
Also, it might just be the soul-possessing process that turned the eye blue, because it's kind of a bluey laser, isn't it?
Okay, well, that's the in-universe explanation. Out-universe is they just thought people wouldn't be staring at the guy's eyes.
Maybe blue prop eyeballs were cheaper than brown ones.
Also, I remember the eyeball looked massive.
Yeah, it
Is
probably
that
was.
bigger than a normal? I mean, I don't know how big human eyes actually are, because obviously you don't see a great deal of a human eye on somebody, do you? You just see the front pieces. I imagine there's loads of it that's hidden away.
I don't know. Maybe it was just weird shot framing or just a big prop eyeball. I'm not sure.
It don't matter. It's a comedy movie. It's fine.
It is a comedy movie with a dark ending because Francesca gets possessed. Detective Bob Gravy gets the witch's husband in his head as well. Then he kills Detective Grape. And then Gravy and Francesca wander off into the night to do witchy bullshit, probably.
Yeah, happy ending, isn't it?
Is it?
What a long lost romantic couple reunited centuries after their, apparent demise. Their love kept them alive through the death and has brought them back together once more. How is that not a romantic movie?
I mean, the people that were killed were kind of pricks. Apart from Detective Grape.
No,
Maxie.
Gravy was all right. Grape, the female detective, she was a bit of a dick, but Gravy was
How
all right.
was she? She was deeply in love with Detective Gravy. You
I
were
know
just on
she was
about
deeply
love.
in love. It doesn't matter if she was deeply in love because Gravy was infatuated with Francesca because every guy was.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Too many pervs or not enough pervs in this film, Chris? What do you reckon?
What do you mean too many pervs? Okay, there's only one real pervy character. Let's discuss this guy.
It's Max's cousin, or Max's cousin, isn't it? We see him briefly at the beginning of the film, during the dancey credits, and then he pops up being pervy, breaks into her house, does pervy things, and then gets clobbered over the head with an iron because the chair is not having any of that bullshit.
Well, I mean, you're sitting there. You've got this. I can't think of the word. Okay, you really like this girl, and you're sitting in her apartment, and you're in a chair, and some guy comes in and gets like some of her underwear and a hat, and goes under the duvet with them in what appears to be humping them. You're not just going to sit there. You're going to be like, dude, the fuck are you doing? Or in this case, you take an iron and batter the person.
Madness.
And then,
Just madness. There's also
sorry,
that
the
weird...
body off the balcony.
Yeah, gently chuck it over. There's also that weird, almost artsy, sexy scene with Francesca on the chair. It's weird.
It's weird, but it makes sense, doesn't it? Because at the start of the film, when she sits on the chair and then the lighting sort of turns, I can't remember if it's red or purple, and she's like rubbing all over the chair in suggestive manners and groaning and all. It's all very inappropriate and of a suggestive nature. And when you're watching it, you're thinking, what the fuck? Why would she do this? But later on, it makes sense because the chair has got the spirit of the male, dead witch husband guy, and she's got the spirit of the witch clinging to her. So she's sitting on it. The spirits are like probably touching each other, aren't they? Their energies are linking, and she's feeling that pull towards it. It makes sense later on in the film why she would, squirm around on the chair like that.
In a way, I guess.
In a way, it was a weird scene. I was watching it, and I sort of just turned and looked at my girlfriend, and she stared at me, and there was a moment when we both sort of went, "Yeah, we're watching one of these films, okay?"
What did you think? It was always going to be one of those films, Chris.
I was expecting, ridiculous murders and over-the-top violence and gore and stuff, and not some sort of erotic scene where she's just aggressively rubbing a piece of furniture.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the chair itself. A formidable foe, or do you reckon that you could beat it up?
I don't know. It seems to take out a lot of people with relative ease.
Two, in its chair form.
In its chair form, okay, two of them, yeah. Let me think. Yeah, it's a fucking chair, isn't it? It's fine. Yeah, if you know it's possessed and it stands upright, it doesn't have hands, does it? It can't grab hold of you, but then how does it use the iron?
Exactly. Maybe the pads can sort of grip around something, manipulate the folds of the fabric in some way.
It's a chair. I don't think it's a very fast-moving chair. I think it's quite a slow-moving chair. Also, it's a chair. It's quite big. You're going to be able to get away from it if you're running in that lot. I think you could probably get down a flight of stairs and get out of there before the chair can make it down the flight of stairs.
Yeah, but I reckon if it cornered you in a room and it went to its big standy-up form,
yeah, You don't
I,
reckon you could push it over?
I don't know. I reckon it's probably sturdier than it looks.
Oh, those are classic lazy boy chairs, sturdier than they look.
They're, they're, they're built to hold lazy boys, Chris. I reckon they're sturdier than they look.
I don't know, a running drop kick with both feet out? I suppose you could, that would shunt the chair over enough, surely.
Yeah, but it's
And then,
padded. It would absorb the blow, I reckon. Also, a drop kick is a terrible attack method because if it does absorb the blow, you land on the floor. All the chair has to do is just land on top of you, and it'll just smother you or like munch you to death.
yeah, but you're assuming that the chair won't fall. If the chair wobbles and does fall, I mean, do you think you could just stand up quicker than what a possessed lazy boy could? I
reckon
think
if you,
you could.
I reckon if you drop kicked it, it would probably fall back into its chair form
Oh, I didn't think about
rather
that.
than
Yeah.
than flop back. Like instead of if you drop kick someone, you might take them to a knee. I think going back to its chair form would be its version. I still think it would be able to get back up quicker than you would from having delivered a drop kick. Drop kicks are not effective, Chris.
I don't know. They always seem cool as fuck in the movies, and they seem to always work.
Yeah, in the movies. This is
But
real
this is a
life.
movie. That's what we're discussing.
What if you... How freaked out would you be if you punched the front padding off and there was a body?
I mean, I would be freaked, but at the same time, I'd think, oh, maybe it's not possessed. It's just a person. We can take them out, sort of thing.
Yeah, but
Because
he's missing a nose.
he's missing the whole skin of his face, wasn't he?
Yeah. Also, why does nobody smell the decaying corpse of a man in a chair? Why does...
Magic. It's magic, isn't it? What do you mean? What do you mean? Why it's magic? Clearly, it's holding the smell inside it.
Did I miss a part of the blog where he's describing the books and he's going, the books, they have magical powers. They feed on people's souls. Do not interrupt the feeding because that person's soul is already doomed. Also, they're very fragrant as well, known for potpourri-like smells.
Precisely. Also, that bit doesn't make sense. Don't interrupt the feeding because that person's soul's already doomed. So why can't you interrupt it then? What difference does it make if the person's soul's doomed either way, and you've got a free shot to stab the Dybbuk or whatever, or to set fire to it? Perhaps I think fire would be effective against it while it's feeding. Why don't you go for it? The person's doomed. It don't matter.
Well, maybe if you interrupt the feeding process, their soul lingers in the air, and like the witch, that soul could probably cling to you. Maybe that's a troubling thing. And then you've got to fight a Dybbuk and someone pervy trying to take over your body, like TJ or Max's cousin.
Okay, yeah, that would be.
TJ's not pervy. I'm sorry. He's just.
He's not. That's why Francesca likes him. He's the opposite, isn't he?
He's an unattentive, possibly gay boyfriend that takes credit for romantic gestures and makes a chair upset that he didn't hand out bickies.
Also, that chair sets up a plate of cookies, and they're freshly baked ones.
And lights candles.
So this chair can cook.
There are too many candles in this film, Chris.
There's always a lit candle in the bathroom. I did notice that.
Fire hazard. Dangerous. Don't leave candles unattended. But yeah, the fact that the book can bake is an achievement.
I suppose it is, yeah. Also, I don't understand why it's cool, why they used a Dybbuk or a Dybbuk for this thing, because it's a male, it's a male witch, isn't it? You got the females possessing or cling on to Francesca, and it's this guy's bringing through the spirit of this Valerie's, the witch's husband, which is a guy. It's not a demon. It's not a Dybbuk or a spirit. Oh, I mean, it's a spirit, but it's not a Dybbuk, is it? It's a ghost of a man.
Chris,
So
I
where
don't
do we
know what
get the Dybbuk stuff from.
I don't know what a Dybbuk is. Well, maybe that's maybe because sometimes I don't like it in horror films where they just so happen to stumble on the correct diagnosis of a spirit. So maybe Jack's the one looking up the Dybbuk. Maybe it isn't a Dybbuk. Maybe he's diagnosed it wrong.
Which would make sense, because how it's from like its other films I've seen it in, a Dybbuk or whatever you want to call it. It's some sort of demonic entity, right? It's a demon. It's not the spirit of a person, unless I'm completely mistaken. I'm going to look into this afterwards because I can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure it's not the spirit of a person. So maybe that explains why the Dybbuk box didn't work. Also, it was just a random box that Jack built. I think
Yeah.
in other films they're meant to be like, blessed and have again some sort of ritual done over them to turn them into a box that can hold this demonic energy.
Also, it's not real anyway, so it doesn't matter.
What do you mean it's not real? Are you joking? I've ordered 5 Dybbuk boxes. Actually, you
Look.
can buy this other film that had a Dybbuk box in it. It's going to be based on true events, and the Dybbuk box was on sale on eBay, so you can buy it.
Why? Don't waste your money. Okay?
I'm going to send you the links afterwards.
I'm not buying a Dybbuk box for a haunted chair that I could probably beat up if I had an axe. But if I didn't have an axe, I wouldn't bet the farm on me beating the chair. 'Cause it's big. It's a big chair.
I don't know. I think you need to give yourself more credit. I reckon you could take a lazy boy chair.
I don't know. I mean, 50 naked satanic cultists in my house. Yeah, sure. I could take them out, but I don't know about the lazy boy. I think it'd have bulk and size over me in a surprise fight.
I also think 50 naked cultists all on you at once. I'm sorry, you're not taking them. They're going to get the upper hand.
I would fuck them up. If you're confused, listen to our episode on Hereditary, which this kind of ends like, doesn't it? It's kind of a kick in the teeth ending where the bad guys win. I am incredibly surprised that the police let Francesca keep the chair where there was a body in the chair.
That is weird.
It should have been disposed of because it's a health hazard, really.
I mean, maybe in New Zealand it's different. Like, obviously, they got the body out of it and then went, yeah, that's fine. Run a bit of a, wet cloth. You rub off the blood stains, don't you? Because there's a cold water you use for blood stains. Don't forget that. And then then like, yeah, you can have the chair back. It's fine.
Wait, it could be
maybe she steals it.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe evil, sexy Francesca uses her feminine wiles on the guy that was keeping a lookout over the evidence and uses her feminine wiles to charm him to give her the chair back. But yeah, Bob Gravy should have been like, "Hey, don't you keep that? That should have been burnt. There was a dead man in that. That is not healthy."
He was suspicious of it, wasn't he? Because
no, he wasn't. He was just making small talk to try.
Okay, can you blame him though? He's being lured in by witch allure, isn't he? He can't resist it because at the end of the film, Francesca's she's been taken over by the Valerie the witch. It's taken her over, and then she has a date with Mr. Bob Gravy. Incredible name, by the way. Where she poisons him because that's what she did when Valerie was alive. She would poison men that became like infatuated with her, and she poisoned Bob Gravy and kills him. So I don't know. He dies. His soul leaves his body, and then the body's empty, and then the chair or the spirit from the chair then possesses him.
Exactly.
Why did it have to be Bob Gravy? Could it not have been like her TJ, her actual boyfriend?
No, because he's dead.
When they died, wouldn't the chair just possess his body for?
I know. Maybe it wasn't strong enough yet. Maybe Francesca hadn't been weakened enough, and killing her boyfriend would go away to breaking her mentally, so that Vivian could get in there, take full control over her body.
Who the fuck's Vivian? I thought it was Valerie.
Valerie, that's it. I don't know.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah. Do you think if Jack hadn't been written out with a heart condition thing and Maxie hadn't spent 20 minutes in a bin, either of those could have helped defeat the chair?
I mean, yeah, probably if Jack, the granddad, because let's face it, if he knew about Dybbuks and he knew to build a Dybbuk box, he probably knew the rituals to get the actual spirit into the box to trap it. So he would have gone with her there, done, whatever he needed to do, and the spirit would have gone. He wouldn't have just thrown the box down and gone, "Get in there! Get in the box!" So he knew what to do.
Yeah. Points for effort, though. Just giving it a go. Get in the box.
Exactly. Or I mean, the one character who probably could have saved everything was Jack's dad, because it turns out his dad is alive also still. I don't know how old his dad would have been. But his
God.
dad has the power, psychic power, and he calls his dad like, "I've got the power. I know it's a Dybbuk," and the dad's like, "You ain't got the power. Get out of here." But had he gone, "Okay, son, I'll be right over," I'm pretty sure he would have cleared everything up within 10 minutes.
Yeah. What about the blogger? The really intense. I wanted him to fight the Dybbuk. I wanted him, but he was just on the screen on a laptop. I think they wasted him.
I get the feeling from that character, which as soon as I saw him and he's doing his videos, that he's the sort of person who runs this website and makes the videos about this stuff, but doesn't actually believe in it themselves.
You think it's just a money grab?
Yeah, that's the feeling immediately I got from the character. And I was like, yeah, this guy, I was like, because I thought they were going to bring him in as well. Like, he would physically come in to help, but he was going to do it for oh yeah, I'll get rid of your spirit for $100 or whatever sort of thing. And he doesn't actually believe in any of it. That's what I got from him anyway.
Yeah. That's quite cheap. That's only £50. I'd charge a bit more to fight a Dybbuk. But yeah,
okay, fair enough.
I wanted him to come in and cut out some of the dream sequences and have him have a punch up with it.
That would have been actually, I would have seen a full on, that would have been good, like a full on fist fight of them. It stands upright and you've just got a guy just going, come on down. He's just laying in, throwing punches into the body. And then the sofa's arms are coming up or the chair's arms are coming up and hitting back sort of thing. That would have been funny.
It would have been funny. But yeah, no. Killer Sofa, Chris. Good time?
Yeah, it was all right. It was better than what I thought it was going to be. I mean, I'm never going to watch it again, but I don't feel like I've been cheated out of my 99p. Unlike I was with fucking Zombies, I was infuriated I had to pay 99p for that.
You mean Zombies?
Oh, fucking, yeah, Zombies. Sorry, yeah, not Zombies. Zombies. I was pissed I had to pay 99p for that, but this I was okay with paying 99 pence to watch.
Good, very good. Next week, Chris, mm-hmm. I think we'll stay in that sort of region of the world. We'll travel a little bit though to Australia, and we'll do another low budget film.
Okay, which is
Mad Max, the original.
Oh my! I was gonna say I thought you meant Fury Road. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not low budget, but okay.
No.
Okay, the original. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was going to do some more sort of weird indie films, but I'm not sure what the interest is, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, Mad Max, Chris. It's also independent cinema. Also, the budget of it can be measured in bottles of beer rather than actual dollars spent on it. But yeah, so that's next week, Chris. I look forward to it. 2 independent films from different eras of cinema.
Okay, sounds fun. I mean, I have seen Mad Max once, so I will endeavour to try and watch it again before next week.
So yeah, if you've got any thoughts on Killer Sofa or My Lover, My Lazy Boy, as it might be known in your part of the world, email us, wecouldssurvivethat@gmail.com, or tweet us @wecouldssurvive. You know, we're on the internet somewhere. You can find us if you want. So yeah, that's it, Chris.
Let's face it, if you're listening to it, you've already found it, haven't you? So
exactly.
You taking a little drink there?
I am, yeah. You can end the show now because I'm going to finish this. I'm going to chug it, see if I can finish it before your outro.
Oh God. Well, thank you to everybody who's been listening to We Could Survive That, your weekly survivor guide to possessed furniture. I couldn't speak then. We're going to see you next week for Mad Max. But until then, keep on surviving. And remember, don't grope and stroke your furniture. That's weird. Goodbye.